Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Riska Efanda. I'm going to present my reflection that I know from the material on the theory of culture in chapter 11. Culture as text, narrative, and hermeneutics. Okay, these are some of the learning topics that I will explain. So, the first is structuralist poetics. When structuralists approach the analysis of narrative, especially conventional stories and literature, their activity is often given the name of structuralist poetics. The work of Russian folklorist Vladimir Prop holds a canonical position, especially within the fields of literary criticism and folklore studies. So, this is Vladimir Prop. Prop argued that each narrative was made up of what he called function. These were elements of a story or plot made up from the action of a character. Next is Northrop Frye. Frye drew in part on Aristotle's Poetics and suggested that structural relationship link character, plot, and narrative genre over all forms of literature. Next topic is the critique of structural poetics. Structuralist poetics tends to work with the idea that fixed unambiguous meaning exists in text and that this can be plucked out like currents from above. Finally, they point to the active work of readers and the need to understand the ambiguities of text, both print and social. However, perhaps the most influential earlier statement of this position comes from Mikhail Bakhtin, who worked in Russia around the same time as Prop. Mikhail Bakhtin. Bakhtin's reputation centered around the main concept, the dialogue and carnival. According to Bakhtin, structuralist understanding could only support a fixed or monologic view of meaning which framed the reader as passive. He suggested that individual subjectivity and consciousness is made up of signs and meanings which are derived from a wider culture. Next, number 2, ego, the role of the reader. According to ego, the codes and stylistic convention used in a text will not only identify and appeal to this modern reader, but also serve to construct them by offering actual readers clues as to how they should approach the text. Narrative and social process. There are three core themes of sociological literature on narrative. First, studies of genres and audiences, and secondly, exploration of narrative and qualitative methodology. And the last is studies of the narrative aspect of social and political life. And then Victor Turner and social drama. Victor Turner work is an important point of reference for those who wish to indicate the narrative or fictive dimension of social process in the real world. Turner saw social life as kind of performance characterized by imagination, play, and creativity. Next, the narrative analysis and politics. Jacob. He argued that the contending narrative could be classified in terms of the main genre, tragedy and romance. tragic narratives tended to focus on outrage, racism, and violence. Romantic narratives point to the future with optimism. Working on the Carnivores, it can be argued that Bakhtin's analysis of the carnival genre is rather fallible, and although he celebrates the Carnivores as a form of popular resistance to authority in all acts. Hermeneutics. Hermeneutics as an area is concerned with issues of meaning and mutual understanding. Traditionally, it has tended to be subjective, humanistic, individualistic, aesthetic, philosophical, and phenomenological in orientation. Narrative theory has tended to be more objectivist in orientation. And the last is Clifford Geertz. Geertz argued that culture is an active and constitutive dimension of social life rather than just a dull mechanism for ensuring social integration. He sees it as a providing symbolic templates or blueprints through which people can make their work meaningful on both cognitive and emotional levels. The shift from Geertz take description towards the style of work embodied in writing culture is typical of the faith of humanities in general. Lesson learned. The lesson is that narrative and hermeneutics can show us how people make sense of the world. As explained, culture can make the world meaningful. And from various figures, they currently have their own views. That's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.